Is there? And if you hear this on the go,
Okay, today on AZCactusTac, we have another unboxing, the CMMG Banshee in 10mm. So let's get right into it. Okay, so we've pulled it out of the box. What are we going to do today? We're going to show you the CMMG Banshee 10mm unboxing. Why 10mm? Why CMMG? To be honest, I have had horrendous luck with 10mm PDWs. Absolutely horrendous. As a result of that, I have gobs of 10mm ammo. I don't want to give up on the format. It's been my experience. CMMG is probably my last chance at finding something that actually works. So I thought I'd take a gamble and see what it's all about. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. We'll just unzip these first two zippers right here. There's a bunch of stuff in this zipper. Looks like we have a 15 round 10mm Glock mag. So one thing about the CMMG Banshee is that it does take Glock mags, which is nice. So we get a 10mm Glock mag. Give you a buffer, some type of a buffer. Okay, due to the wide variety of 10mm ammunition offerings, the MK10 ships with an additional buffer to help you fine-tune the firearm to meet your preferred ammunition. Having the correct buffer installed is important. Okay, they have a formula for power factor, bullet weight in grains times muzzle velocity divided by 1,000. If your power factor is less than 190, the carbine buffer ships with firearm in box. Greater than 190, the H3 buffer, which is installed in the firearm from the factory. And then if you're greater than 230, you need the extended use or suppressed buffer, which is the CMMG 8-ounce buffer. So it looks like they give you an extra buffer, which is the carbine buffer if you're less than 190. So if you're greater than 190 to 230, it looks like there's an H3 buffer that's installed in the firearm from the factory. Okay, so that's sort of cool. They give you a little bit of flexibility in terms of buffers. That's awesome. And let's see if there's anything in here. Oh, we got some more. All right, looks like some Velcro straps, I would imagine, to hold your firearm in here. Let's go ahead and let's get this bad boy out of the case. You know, it's nice that they give you this nice carrying case, to be honest. It seems perfectly good, fine. Okay, so here it is. A little bit heavier than I would have initially thought. Oh, okay, these are some of these Velcro straps right here. So they give you some like extra ones to tie in your firearm into the case. We'll go ahead and get that cleared off. Let's go ahead and get this cleared off over here. And again, this is my first time opening this thing. I don't know what to expect, but got it in a anti-corrosion bag. All right. I have to tell you, my first impression just lifting this thing, I was expecting, to be honest, I was expecting something to feel a lot cheaper. This actually has some nice weight to it and feels like pretty solid, pretty stout. So that's just my initial impression right out of the box. We'll go ahead and I'll grab one of the cameras and give you guys a closer view, but just at a very top level, we've got the buffer right there. Very AR centric, got a safety. First impression, the safety seems pretty good, has some nice reach to it. It is a Banshee, that's their brand name. I know they have some other brand names for some of their other rifles. You got a safety on both the right and the left side. It's a little bit slimmer profile here on the right, much thicker on the left side of the firearm. And just confirming that it is indeed 10 mil. Mark 10. They've got this, just take this sticker off. Okay. The roll mark is just CMMG. Got a charging handle up there. It is safe and clear. And then some type of a muzzle brake is installed. Okay, so we'll bring you in for a closer look.
Is there? And if you hear this,
All right, there's the muzzle brake. I think it's one of those like 0.528 by 24. It's one of those odd thread pitches for this particular brake. I'll confirm that in the video. But nice M-lock handguard, pretty good design. I think I got the Coyote brown or whatever it was. I've got some oil on my hands from a prior cleaning, so apologize for the smudges. It didn't come out that way. That's all me. Again, this safety, this is on the left side. That safety's a little bit thicker. You can see, we try to bring that down. I know the CMMG has their own sub-brand of accessories, and I think that's what they're using here. And then there's the buffer. And we'll just flip this around. But again, first impressions, really good overall feeling. I'm actually surprised. Feels better than others that I've had. Okay, and there's the grip. And looks like there's a bolt release on that side. And, or not bolt, but a magazine release. And then this looks like the bolt release on this side here. So pretty good. Okay.
is there?
I really, I would say super crisp trigger, little bit of grit on the reset, but really fast reset. Super fast reset. That's actually really nice, but there is a little bit of grit going back on that reset. Really no take up. Yeah, you're at the wall. Right at the start. Yeah, you're right at the wall. So there's really no take up when you're initially pressing the trigger. You're right at that wall. Very short reset. A little bit of grit, though, on that reset. But considering PDW and the price point, I think you guys would be actually pretty surprised at the trigger quality. So that is pretty cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and see if we can break this thing apart and take a look at the inside.
Is there?
And let's see here. Put it on safe. Okay, and where's the other one? Right there. All right. It's sort of bone dry, so we'll probably put a little bit of, yeah, it's just really very dry. We'll probably put a little bit of oil on it just to coat it up. Yeah, so I would say if you do get one, definitely break it apart. I think it needs just a touch more lube, although there's a little bit on the bolt here. So what these guys are known for is a radial delay. I'm not an expert on all this stuff, but basically when you look at these PDWs, you know, if you're dealing with a direct blowback system, what they do to try to, you know, let the pressures die down is they try to add weight before this thing's blowing back. And so the heavier caliber, the more weight in this bolt you have, the more weight in the bolt, you know, the more felt recoil that you have. And so That's why when you look at the roller lock or roller delayed system, it basically has these rollers that point out to the side like the HK, and that holds it right there after the initial, explosion that goes off to set your round down the chamber, holds it for a bit, and then eventually those pressures make it go back, and they're able to get away with less mass, and hence a better felt recoil, more accuracy, all that good stuff that goes along with that. Versus direct blowback, as you move into heavier your calibers, you got to add more and more weight to this bolt. That's just how I understand it. And what these guys have done is, instead of having rollers, these guys have basically chamfered the ridges on this bolt. So they're sort of chamfered at the end. I don't know if you guys can see that well. See, these are just, they're like cut at an angle. And that's what gives it enough friction as the pressures in the chamber begin to die down, from what I understand. I'm not an expert on this, but that's the general gist. It's just a different way outside of roller delayed, a different way to let everything die down before this thing releases back, and a way to reduce the overall mass. There's everything, and you can see it's not a gas port. It's sealed off. So it's basically a radial delayed blowback system is what I would call this operating system. I don't know what they call it. I just saw that they had a radial delayed something. I don't know what their official brand is on that. Here's the charging handle. Again, everything feels pretty good. Let me give you guys a look inside here. And there's the buffer. And let's see, what is that? That is an H3 buffer. Then, see there. So everything looks good. I hope it works. Let me see, let me pull that buffer out. Okay, this is the buffer right here. Says H3 on it. Not a heavy duty spring like you see on the Geisley, the braided one, but I'm sure you could upgrade it. I think it's pretty much a standard buffer spring, but if you guys know different or hear different, please put it in the comments. Can't really see with the lighting in here. Let me grab my keys and just take a quick look. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, so you can see those lugs that basically interface with this, like any typical system. And then there is this slight chamfering. It's very angular on the edges here. So we're going to get this lubed up a little bit, and then maybe if I have time today, I'll run down to the range and put a couple of rounds and see if this thing works.
Is there?
Okay, got a quick optic installed that I had laying around, and I did have a pistol brace, but does not fit on this tube. So there's probably some bullshit adapter or bullshit tube that I have to make mil-spec standard stuff fit, I would imagine. I don't know for sure, but does not fit on that, which is disappointing. Had a couple of 10mm Glock mags. The one thing I've noticed, I went to insert, and this is a pretty steep angle going up, so you gotta really, make sure that it's at a good solid angle. But in general, they all seem to work fairly well. And this is the one that came with it, and you can see that look there. So far everything's working. It's just me getting used to the angle of insertion. And all in all, I think we'll go try and hit the range and just get a couple of rounds through it, and then I've got to sort out how to get some brace on this thing, and figure that out. So all in all, it's the CMMG Banshee. First impressions, it feels like it's good quality. Time will tell. I am skeptical on these things because they haven't had a really good run, but hopefully this one will break the perception. So with that, thank you for joining. AZCactusTac out.
Is there?
Put first rounds through the CMMG Banshee. I'm sure this optic is nowhere near zeroed, but we'll just see if we can just get it on paper. The goal here is just to see if the gun works. Have it on safe. Okay. Doesn't have a forward assist, so all right, put it off safe. Try to get the first round down. Oh, and looky there. Look at that. Didn't feed. And get our first jam. Yep. Okay. Not off to a good start. All right. And we're not able to get anything to feed here. Put it on. Can't even get it on safe. Look at that. Okay. Okay, it didn't lock back, but there we are. So, not off to a good start. We'll put a couple more rounds in this and see if we can get it going a little. Okay, got a round chambered. Safe off. And that's it. It is not feeding. Okay, CMMG here. We tried to download scenes and it just was not able to extract the round. So this is the first time using this firearm, and I've had issues literally since the first magazine.
Is that?
And if you hear this sound, then go and bend your back, go and bend your knees, baby, shake it to the max. Will the DJ please turn on the...
Okay, on the CMMG Banshee 10mm, this was the buffer that was originally installed. I forget what they call this one. Maybe it's an H2. But this was originally installed, or H3. They suggested trying the other buffer, which I think they call the carving buffer. However, when I did the math, based on the PMC ammo that I'm shooting here, the math said this is the right buffer, but the other buffer that came with the firearm is now installed in it, and we'll give that a go. We've got the magazine that came with the firearm. I do have it fully loaded to 15 with PMC. That'll be our first test. Okay. Get this in, we'll pull that back. Okay, that is seated. There we are. Okay, we're just gonna do the release from here. Okay, that fed. And we'll see what happens here. And let's get this a little bit brighter. Okay, bolt did not lock back, but the magazine did empty.
Is that?
And magazine locks back. All right, evidently that's the issue, was the buffer. It worked with all magazines, different types of ammo, and I think that the problem, as they say, is figured out and solved. Thank you.
Is that?